At the sound of the blues riff, it must be time for the 110th SongBike Guitar Q&A live stream here on YouTube. Hey, everybody, I missed you. Hope you've been having fun these last few weeks. I have a bunch of fun excuses as to why I was not here, but I'm back and you are back. And I see a lot of familiar names in the chat already. Barry, thank you for your super chat donation. It's going to be a great show. Whew. You ready? You ready for what's going to happen today? I'm going to show you that blues riff, by the way. A lot going on. We got a poll question up and running. More about that in a minute. I want to talk about Mike Campbell's autobiography. I want to talk about John Oates from Hall & Oates, the new Spinal Tap movie, a feature I call the WTF feature, the weekly teaching feature. I'm going to show you a great picking exercise as well as that blue riff. We're going to talk about your heart and your heart's rhythm. Yeah. Ed Sheeran. We're going to talk about music on the porch day. We're going to talk about a guitar I want to sell to you. No joke. We have a student quote of the week. My own dumb question of the week. Our play along song of the week is one of the best songs ever, ever, ever. Objectively, it's one of the best songs, in my opinion. Subjectively, it's one of the best songs ever written. It just is. It just is. And I'm going to show you how to play it on the guitar. I hope that whets your appetite because we're going to do a bunch of things before we get to our virtual play along. But I'll say it again. This week's virtual play along songs is one of the best songs ever written. And I'll fight you if you don't agree with me. That's all right. Let's play something. Grab your guitar. Let's play the Little Red Rooster riff. For those of you who got this free book way back when, I'm just right on page 8. If you want to, check out page 8 of the book. It's the riff I was just playing for you. Just a great key of G blues riff. Hope you got your guitar because I want to get right into this right now. We are going to share the screen. Okay, say it with me. If your screen goes black, don't even worry about it. It will populate quickly. There it is right there. Share. And let's just do this. This is big on your screen. I know it's big. Some of you just fell out of your chair. Okay, that's all right. This is Jonathan's modified version of the Little Red Rooster riff. I listened to a bunch of different people, came up with my own extremely cool version of the riff. So let's add it to your repertoire right now. You need 2 fingers. I highly recommend ring finger playing any number 3 you see on there, and index finger playing all the number 1s. Okay, so what's going on here? Howlin' Wolf, the Grateful Dead, the Rolling Stones, and many, many, many more people have covered this tune. What a great riff. Very often done with a slide. We're going to do it with our bare fingers because it sounds great no matter how you do it. Okay, so when I call this a modified version, I say that for legal reasons, right? I don't want the blues police coming after me and saying, that's different than how so-and-so did it. Yeah, I know, but this sounds so good, you know? Okay, so to get the timing right, please, in your mind or out loud, give yourself a 3 count. 1, 2, 3. That will get you into the feel of the riff right away. As you're counting to 3, I would get your ring finger on that 6th string 3rd fret right away. 1, 2, 3. Bum, 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 bum. You do not have to leave your ring finger on that 6th string once you're done with it. In fact, don't bother because you just run the risk of having that ring finger lean over and dampen out the 5th string, number 1. It's not worth it. You don't get any extra points for keeping it in place. In fact, it's pretty cool to be able to hustle back and get that ring finger again, even though you abandoned it. This might be slightly contrary to some of my other advice in this context. I would lift my ring finger off once I'm done with it and then just hustle to put it back down again. Okay, what comes next? What do we got there? Please just bar your ring finger on the 2 center strings, 3rd fret. Now, of course, my ring finger is touching a total of 4 treble strings, 4 skinny strings. That's fine. My pick is focusing only on the 2 center strings, the G and D. It helps to have your thumb pretty much right opposite your ring finger. I wouldn't do this as effectively if my thumb was hanging out here way up high. Just imagine that you're trying to hide your thumb from the audience, right? That's one way to get your thumb in the right place. Okay, 2 center strings at 3, 2 center strings open, but instead of letting your fretting fingers fly away, just let them glide over to the 2 skinny treble strings, 3rd fret. I'm doing a little partial bar on the 2 treble strings, and I recommend doing an upstroke right there to get that nice sharp trebly sound. Think about it. As you pick up, you're going to hit the skinny string with more energy. Even if you hit both strings, the skinny string is going to get more of your energy. It's going to make the sound pop a little bit. Okay? Put it all together from the beginning. Oh, counted. 1, 2, 3. If you make a mistake, just play through it. One of the best pieces of advice I can give you. Sounds good slow, sounds good medium, no reason to rush it, right? It's not a fast riff. Questions, comments? I like it when the chat goes quiet because I know you're playing what we got there. The Little Red Rooster riff, Jonathan's version, depending on whose version you are playing along with, putting a capo at the 2nd fret. I believe the Rolling Stones version, you do not have to put a capo on at all. The Grateful Dead's version and Howlin' Wolf's original version, you do want to put a capo at the 2nd fret. I'm not doing it now because there's no need at the moment, right? This is just me and you. Okay, questions, comments? You guys good with this? For those of you who are familiar with the repeat signs, I'm going to use my cursor here. Hopefully you guys can see my, okay, those 2 dots at the very end. See my making my cursor circle around those 2 dots? Those 2 dots send you back not to the actual beginning, but they send you back to those 2 dots. This is just the conventional way of writing this. Don't let it throw you. So at the very end, you got 1, 1 on the A string, and you jump back to 3 on the 6th string. That's all. So once you get started here, you end up looping around the notes in between the 2 repeat signs. Okay, the 2 dots there and the 2 dots there. Easy peasy. Nothing to worry about. Okay, you guys good with that? Look at that. Not even 10 minutes in, and you got a blues riff to work with. Now, A to Z Me says, can't follow along the sheet music. Yeah, but you can read tab, right? That's what the tab is there for. The software that I use to write my books and to present stuff like this to you guys, the software gives me the option of presenting both the tab down below and let's call it the proper music up above. So I choose to put both of them there. For many of you, you're going to ignore the top stuff, and that's totally fine. For those of you who can read that, especially the rhythms, it's there if you want it. Otherwise, you can just ignore it. But, of course, tab is pretty simple, right? Lines equal strings, numbers equal frets. And in terms of the timing, I'm giving you the timing. Yo, 2, 3. Bum, bum. So Poopa John says, what chords are you playing? Interestingly, you could say I'm not playing any chords, right? I'm playing exactly what's on the screen, no chords whatsoever. If someone wanted to play with you while you're playing this, I recommend a G7 chord. This is a blues riff in the key of G. And once you're in the world of blues, blues is full of 7th chords. So instead of playing G major or G minor, you're going to play G7. Just just keeping the beat. Say you have a friend who is a beginner. If they can play a G7, even a modified G7, where they just grab the skinny string first fret, ignore the 2 fat strings, and they just strum the 4 treble strings. Tell them just to keep a steady beat, and then they're playing with you. For those of you who would want to maybe do this into your looper, the G blues scale, you could loop this around, right, with your looper, and then, or just record yourself on your phone, and then the G blues scale. You ready for the G blues scale? 1, let's do it the easiest possible way, in my opinion. The 3 treble strings. 3rd string, the G string, open. G string, 3rd fret. I recommend your ring finger, your 3rd finger there. 2nd string, 1st fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret. And 1st string, 1st fret, 3rd fret. So to recap, slow and easy. 3rd skinny string, 0, 3. 2nd skinny string, the B string, 1, 2, 3. 1st skinny string, 1, 3. Okay, so there's your G blues scale, at least one kind of easy way to play a G blues scale. You could improvise with that scale on top of the Little Red Rooster riff. All right, hey, Rock Lobster. Rock Lobster says, SongBike back in town. You got it. I'm back with the bikers. That's you guys. John Cavallo is checking in from Sweden. John, I'm guessing you're there on business, but I hope you have some fun while you're in Sweden. Hey, while I'm looking at the chat, let me say hello to a bunch of familiar names. Rock Lobster, hello. Pooba John, A to Z Me. John Cavallo, Scott, Christian, Randy, Joseph checking in from Oklahoma City. Chaz checking in from New York City. William Collier checking in from Texas. Barry, Matt, hey, you guys. So the Little Red Rooster riff, extremely fun, rewarding. There you go. Okay, you guys good with that? How could you get your own copy of that? Free book, the free book. You guys know this, right? You can head over to my website, song-bike.com. And one of the very first things you'll see on the website is a place for you to get this free as an ebook that gets emailed to you in PDF form. You can print it out or not print it out. What you're looking at on the screen is one of the pages in the book. It's a great book. Get it. Everyone else has it. You might as well get it too. Okay, stop sharing. There we go. All right. Let's have some fun. Should I sell out? I got a huge list. I haven't seen you guys for a few weeks. These have been piling up. Should I sell out? Here's what I've been offered to sell to you. A cordless rotary tool, a long-range walkie-talkie, a dash cam, earbuds, karaoke machines, scented candles. I've been offered necklaces and bracelets, a special photo editing thing, an 84-inch folding poker table, and, drum roll please, women's tights with or without fleece lining. A little section of our show I call Should I Sell Out? I'm going to pass, but there you go. Should I sell out? Well, not this time. Those are the things I was offered to offer to you. Hey, you want to buy a guitar? This is something I do want to offer to you. Would you buy a guitar from this guy? Okay, check this out. I'm selling this guitar. I'm going to tell you more in a minute. Don't go anywhere. It's a very cool guitar. And let's see. I want that. I want that. Okay. Pretty soon you should see this pop up on your screen. There we go. What is this guitar and why am I selling it? I'll tell you. That is a pretty guitar. I'm going to miss that guitar because it hangs on the wall and that's a pretty guitar. Okay, what you're looking at is an Epiphone SG Pro. I believe it's a slightly rare model from the Epiphone Guitar Company in a gorgeous, gorgeous kind of icy blue. That is a pretty guitar. It is a used guitar. It shows very, very, very little sign of wear and tear. You need this guitar. What makes it special, other than that gorgeous color and just the rockin' vibe of the SG style? Coil taps. two volume knobs pull out, and that changes the humbuckers into essentially a single coil type of a pickup. So you get a more versatile instrument in your hands. It's a very cool guitar. Okay, now why am I selling it if it's such a great guitar? I traded in a whole bunch of stuff recently and got a whole bunch of stuff. And most of it I'm keeping for myself. But I saw this guitar on the wall and I thought, you know what? For that price, that is a sweet guitar. And I would like to get it into someone's hands. And in the meantime, I like looking at it and playing it a little bit myself. So an Epiphone SG Pro. There are lots of Epiphone SGs out there, but there are very few of this particular model. At least I couldn't find very many. I definitely couldn't find very many in this color. By the way, the back of the neck is also painted that color. So pretty much the whole back of the instrument is that gorgeous icy blue. $449, and it's yours. I'm not going to ship it. Sorry, you guys. But anyone who is in the vicinity of Connecticut and wants to come and try it out and maybe purchase it, you're welcome to. But what a great guitar. No pressure. But if you're shopping around for a very, very cool electric guitar with a bunch of versatile sound possibilities built in, gorgeous color, technically it's used, but it's barely been used from what I could tell, and it sounds great. Why am I not using it right now? I know it. I'm in like a little cockpit of a plane right here, and that's what it feels like to me, and I don't want to have stuff. But I tell you what, though, I'm likely to bring it out in the future to play in a live stream if it doesn't sell, probably because I just like the guitar a lot. So there you go. That's my sales pitch of the night. Hey, Ryan is checking in from Colorado Springs. Hey, Ryan, how are you? Thanks for being here. So there you go. Epiphone SG Pro model, $449 cash, and it's yours. How would you let me know that you're interested? Send me an email, info@song-bike.com, and we'll work something out. But like I said, I'm not in a position to ship it. But come on by. Nice time in Connecticut. We have such mild, beautiful, like end of the summer weather. Oh my gosh. Mid 70s, dry and sunny. All the tourists have gone back to where they come from, and that's a nice quiet time here in Connecticut. Little kids are back in school. Okay, I'm glad you're here because I'm going to give you the #1 piece of advice. I sent out an email promoting the show, and kind of a clickbait subject line included the #1 piece of guitar advice. If I had to take my 30 plus years of teaching and pick one piece of advice that I would give you, that's so important. So important. What would that piece of advice be? Don't go anywhere. I'm going to tell you in a minute. What would that piece of advice be after years and years and years of teaching? I began teaching 1992. It is 2025. That's 33 years. Now it's been just over 33 years. Holy cow. So if I could give you one piece of advice, doesn't matter if you're finger picking, playing with a pick, acoustic guitar, electric guitar, if you've been playing for a week, a month, a year, a decade, what's the one piece of advice that I would give everybody? One word: slow down. I know it's 2 words. I know. Slow down. You're playing it too fast. Please slow down. That's my big piece of advice. Whatever you're working on, you're doing it too fast. If it's not going well, you're doing it too fast. Slowing down, whatever you're working on, it takes discipline. It takes humility. That's my big piece of advice, my friends. I see students do it all the time. They play and they mess up, and they play and they mess up, and they typically get faster out of frustration, adrenaline, and then they play worse. In the rare moments when a student takes a deep breath and they hear what the teacher is saying and they slow down, they play it perfectly. Rarely do I have a student slow down and not play it, whatever it is, either perfectly or so close to perfect. And then you keep doing it at that speed, and then you get it into your muscle memory, and you get that satisfaction. You begin to hear the phrase that you're playing. So there you go. Barry James says, slow down, you move too fast. That's it, Barry. That's it. After all these years, yeah, man. If I could wave a magic wand and like make a student do something, right in the middle of a lesson, cast a spell. Yeah, just slow down. Don't worry, you'll get it. Whatever you're working on, you'll get it. I can play an enormous amount of material slowly. I can't do everything I'd like to at the speed I'd like to do it at. I'm just like you. I want to play everything faster. But when I hear myself play something slowly and perfectly and smoothly, and it actually sounds like music, it just sounds slower than I want, and that's the only issue. Oh, it's so satisfying. Super, super satisfying. When I timestamp this live stream, I do it typically at double speed, right? And when I hear myself play at double speed, my instant reaction is always the same. Like, man, yeah, that's how fast I'd like to play, exactly twice as fast as I do play. So I get it. We all want to be faster than we are. I get it. How do you get there? By playing slowly. There you go. My number one piece of advice. Now, in another 33 years, hey, stick around. Maybe 33 years from now, I'll come up with an even more valuable piece of advice. We'll find out together. At the moment, just slow down. You'll get it. Now, that brings me to another point in terms of speed. Some things, many things, just sound better doing it up to speed, doing it fast, right? It sounds better. Either that's how the song goes, at a certain speed, right? Or just a cool exercise, could be a scale, could be a sort of a generic picking thing. It just sounds better fast. And I made a note here in my agenda for tonight's show that it's aggravating to recognize that something sounds better the faster you go and you can't get there yet, but it's also motivating, right? But yeah, some things just are meant to be played fast, or at least faster than you or I are currently playing them. So as aggravating as that is, it's also motivating. Like, well, there you go. No one's stopping you from playing it faster. You might get there inch by inch, right? As opposed to making huge progress all the time. You'll get there. You'll get there. Okay. The guitar guru to the gods. How could I resist when I saw this on my in my social media feed? How could I resist? Well, the Atlantic magazine just ran this article, and I thought I'd share it with you guys. I'll put this link in the description. Okay, what are we looking at here? This is from the September 2025 issue of the Atlantic magazine. I'm going to scroll here a little bit. Fred Walecki. Hey, maybe some of you in the California area even know of him and the shop he founded many, many years ago out there in California. Okay, now I know I'm scrolling through this article. This is when I tell you, hey, go buy your own copy of the Atlantic magazine and get a subscription and support the Atlantic magazine. I'm sharing this, but I feel I should tell you that we should all support the Atlantic magazine. Okay, Fred Walecki. So this article is about a concert that was held to benefit Mr. Walecki here. He founded one of the most popular guitar stores out there in California. And being in California, lots and lots of famous people, came through his doors. I was not familiar with him. And now I'm more familiar with him. And what I'm going to do here, like I said, I'm going to share a link in the description of this live stream. I'll share a link to this article in the Atlantic magazine. And I'm also going to share, hang in there, I'm going to share a link to this one. Another article, that one right there, share. Okay. And this is, I'm going to scroll way up here. This is not a new article. This is from the Fretboard Journal, going way back. Look at that, 2008. But same subject, Fred Walecki, and talks about just look at these names. When they wanted to do a benefit concert for him, look who showed up. Are you reading the same names I am? Jackson Brown, Linda Ronta, Emmylou Harris, Graham Nash, Bonnie Raitt, David Crosby, Don Henley, Ry Cooder, Warren Zevon, Chris Hillman, Bernie Ledden from the Eagles, and many other things. Spinal Tap, Albert Lee, organized by Glyn Johns. That's a pretty good lineup. If those people are coming together to support what you do and what you have done, that's pretty cool. So I'm going to share a link to this article as well from the Fretboard Journal, even though this is an older article, and the one from The Atlantic is much more recent, obviously. But there's someone that, even though he passed away in 2023, someone that I feel like we should all know about, and very interesting articles. So there you go. Some that you might not have been aware of before, someone that I was not aware of before. And now I'm a little more familiar with Fred Walecki and Westwood Music in, where was that located exactly? West Los Angeles. Yeah, Fred Walecki. All right. Okay, let's move on, my friends. Let's keep on trucking. I'm looking in the chat. Why am I even here? I'm here for your questions. I forgot to mention that little detail. For those of you who are new to the live stream, I'm actually here for your questions. If you have a question for me, put it in the chat. Put a bunch of question marks in advance of your question so I know your question is aimed at me. And in between your questions, we talk about other stuff, and I show you some stuff on the guitar. We have fun. Okay, speaking of having fun, we have a poll question up and running tonight. The poll question: do you have your own local guitar hero in your town? We all have our favorites among the world of guitars out there, but how about right where you live? Do you have someone right in your area that is one of your inspirations? Some of you might say, yes, it's one of my inspirations. I misspelled the word inspirations. That's all right. Some of you might say, no, but I wish I knew more guitar players in my town. And some of you might say, no, I only follow the legends. So do jump in on that poll question in the chat. And that poll will be up and running to the very, very end of this live stream. So do you have your own local guitar hero in your town? I sure hope you do, because there's so many talented people. They walk amongst us. And how fun is it to just go and see someone right where you live and, watch them, talk to them, maybe even take some lessons from them. They're out there. But you got to do a little research. Sometimes you got to keep your eyes and ears open. I know we all live in very, very different communities. So some of you might live in an area like a city where there's no lack of talent. Some of you might live on top of a mountain, and you are the talent, and that's all there is, right? I know we're all coming from different places. I get it. That's the poll question. I get a dumb question every week, just about every week. I ask a dumb question so you don't have to. You ready for my own dumb question of the week? Here's the dumb question of the week. Can you improve and not know it? Can you get better at the guitar but still think that you're not very good at the guitar? What do you think? It's a dumb question. It's a really dumb question. How could you not know you're improving? I see it all the time. I see students who come in, they say, I can't play F, and they go, and yeah, we all agree that F's not going too well. And they come back a week later, and oh man, F is not. And they come back a third week later, like, oh man, I don't know about this F chord. Man, that's what a pain. You see what I'm saying? Little by little, their emotions have not changed. Their relationship to the F chord in spirit has not changed, but I have to point out to people, this is an extremely common occurrence, that despite the fact that they still might feel frustrated, what they're doing actually is sounding better and better all the time. So yeah, you can definitely improve without being 100% aware that you're improving. So what's the solution? You got to record yourself. You got to record yourself. Pick up your phone and say, this is as good as F sounds, or this is as fast as I can play this riff. And record yourself and then file away that recording, and maybe don't come back to it the next day, but come back to it a week later, 2 weeks later, a month later. Actually record yourself again, right? You decide, a week later, whatever. Record yourself again, but don't listen to the first one, and then compare them. That is, one of the only objective ways you can see if you're improving. And if you didn't improve, okay, well, then you were right. Hey, you didn't improve. There you go. But all I'm telling you is I see it so often. So there you go. Dumb question of the week. Can you improve without knowing it? Yep. I see it all the time. Hey, stick around, everybody. In case you didn't hear the hype at the beginning of the show, our virtual play-along song tonight is one of the best songs ever. Objectively, it's one of the best. And then I'm going to give you a bunch of reasons why I feel it's one of the best songs. And it's not even that hard to play, although it does have a C sharp minor. You want to know how to play a C sharp minor? I'll tell you right now before we even get to the song. Take an A major chord. Okay? You're going to take your A major, keep your ring finger on the second string, second fret. By the way, that happens to be the note C sharp right there. You're going to put your index on the third string, first fret. Put your middle back where the index used to be, the fourth string, second fret. Now, before you strum it, don't strum it yet. When you strum it, don't strum the two fat strings. Don't include the two bass strings. Okay? So a C sharp minor, if you start with an A major chord as your setup, so to speak, you're going to switch two of your fingers. Okay? I'll say it one more time. A major. Whatever you do, don't lift off the finger that's squeezing, the ring finger, third finger on the second string, second fret. Don't lift off that finger. In fact, use that as your anchor. The middle finger is going to go where the pointer finger was, and your pointer finger, your first finger, is going to go to the third string, first fret. Don't strum the two fast strings. There's your C sharp minor. You're going to need that tonight. But I'm going to show you how that's not, you can get around that. But it's an easy chord, right? Okay, some of you might even play a regular A chord with the index finger on the third skinny string, the G string, and the middle finger on the fourth string. It tends to be people with large hands who like to do A this way. Well, then all you're doing is putting the index finger, sliding it back one fret. Yes, Scott is saying the C sharp minor is similar to the D7 shape. Excellent, excellent. So you taught me a lesson. You could also take your D7 chord and move each finger over one fatter string. Okay, now don't worry, we're going to review that. But anyways, that's the one oddball chord that you're going to need for tonight's song, but it's during this interlude thing in the middle that's not crucial, especially if you're considering yourself playing a song around the campfire. That's not the most important part of the song. We'll talk. I'm reading. Okay, Barry's asking a question. Yeah, Barry, great question. Love it. Barry says, Jonathan, do you have any advice regarding playing a soft, folky sounding song on guitar that's originally played on piano? I sure do. Barry says, it's maybe impossible to answer without naming and knowing the song. But I've done this many times before. So yeah. The short answer is to play it with your bare fingers instead of a pick. And if you think about what piano players do all the time, right, is they're playing individual notes and very specific combinations of notes with their bare fingers, right? So it's not a shock that if we want to emulate the sound a piano player gets, using our bare fingers instead of a pick is a good approach. Now, we'll get back to that in a minute. Some of you might say, but I don't know anything about finger picking. In that case, to imitate the sound of a piano with a pick, as always, hold the pick very loosely, very loosely. If you're holding the pick so loosely that you drop it, or that the pick begins to kind of rotate as you're playing, those are good signs. That's a good thing. That you got to squeeze it 1% tighter, but only 1%, just enough so that it doesn't rotate, as you're playing it, but super loose pick. I'm going to grab a good old E minor. If I were to imitate a piano song with a pick, regardless of what the song is, but for our purpose now, we're assuming it's going to be a slowish, folky, mellow kind of song, right? Super loose grip on the pick. Doesn't matter what pick the pick is. Don't feel you have to switch to some more flexible pick. Doesn't matter. How quiet that is. I'm leaning into the mic a little bit. The more you isolate individual strings or maybe pairs of strings, the more it's going to sound pianistic. Don't you like that word, pianistic? So right now, I know I'm playing super softly, but right now what I'm doing is down, up, down, up, down, up. But I'm imitating a common finger picking pattern. Again, I got my E minor chord with my fretting hand. Remember, the fat string is the 6th string, right? I'm going 6, 3, 4, 2. 6, 3, 4, 2, 6, 3, 4, 2, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. The down, up is the most important thing. The exact strings you hit that is not as important. But this is, imitating a finger picking pattern. I just changed to an A minor chord. Here's G. What you can't do, sadly, is the big broad strokes. It's great for something, but not for a song with some nice chill piano. If you have zero experience with finger picking, or if you do have experience, either way, I'm doing the same thing I just did with a pick. But now I'm doing what a legit finger picking accompanist would do. Thumb on the 6th string. Index finger plucking up on the 3rd string. When I say plucking up, I mean plucking in towards my palm. Thumb on the 4th string, also known as the D string. Middle finger on the 2nd. Also plucking up, plucking into my palm. Now don't worry, we're going to review all that in a second. Absolutely one of the most common, popular, easiest finger picking patterns. This finger picking pattern punches above its weight. It sounds harder and fancier than it is. Okay, so just to review, I'll say this slow and steady. Thumb on the 6th string, plucking down towards the floor, basically. Index finger on the 3rd skinny string, plucking into your palm. The thumb is going to jump over to the 4th string, the D string. And now your middle finger on the 2nd skinny string, plucking up into your palm. 6, 3, 4, 2. If you've never done this before, give yourself time. It's going to feel weird. It's not going to sound like music. My number one mistake, maybe my number one mistake on the guitar ever. Well, I should have taken lessons. That's the number one mistake. Second mistake, when I learned a finger picking pattern out of a book, long story. I was just saying that when I learned a finger picking pattern out of the first guitar book I ever got, it sounded clunky. And I thought, man, that's not how Elvis did it. That's not how Bob Dylan did it. I guess I don't know how to finger pick. What I didn't know is that you keep your hand relaxed and you go slowly. And you give yourself time. I don't mean give yourself 5 minutes. I mean give yourself 5 days. Listen to that. By the way, this is also known as the landslide pattern. I imagine most guitar teachers on the planet teach this pattern to their students, and connect it with the song Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. It's done with a capo. Recognize that? Okay, so there you go. To imitate piano, it sure is helpful to use your bare fingers with a nice repetitive pattern with a relaxed hand, smooth and steady. And if it takes you a little while to get there, then yeah, join the club, man. You're asking your muscles to do something that they've never done before, but stick with it. Don't give up. In my defense, I was 16. What did I know? I was only 16. What did I know? And if you don't take lessons, then there's no teacher telling you, dude, you sound fine. You've been doing it for 30 seconds. Do it for 30 days, and you'll get smoother and more automatic and more natural with it. There you go. Barry, you're very welcome. Barry, you're mentioning a song by Mick Flannery called Boston. And so I take it Mick Flannery does that song on piano, right? and you want to do a guitar version. Yeah. The relationship between piano and guitar playing is just fascinating to me. The two instruments get asked to do so much of the same stuff, and they're profoundly different, and yet we want to imitate each other. Chuck Berry, that many of you know the story behind that Johnny Be Good, that Chuck Berry riff. Well, Chuck Berry was trying his best to imitate what the piano player, Johnny Johnson, was doing. And so that is just Chuck Berry trying to sound like the piano, and little did he know that he would create not just a great riff, but one of the classic sounds of the 20th century, right? Hey, Randy and Barry, thank you for your super chat donations. I appreciate that. Okay, so keep the questions coming in. Excellent question. Hey, let me teach you a lesson you never forget. Let's do another of the features that we call the WTF weekly teaching feature. That's what WTF stands for, weekly teaching feature. Things like Little Red Rooster and what we're about to do right now. These are things I did or I have done recently with students, and in my my private teaching, my day job, and I think to myself, ooh, I'm going to share this. This is a good thing. I'm going to do this with people when I do the live stream on Saturday night. Okay, on the screen in front of you, you see something with a sexy title of Picking Etude. This came from a book I picked up. In a minute, when we're done with this, I'll show you my new collection of used guitar books from the Book Barn, Niantic, Connecticut. Every month or two, I head over to Niantic, Connecticut, to the Book Barn and buy a bunch of used guitar books because that's my little addiction. But I choose them carefully, and this one is a very cool exercise. Okay, I'm going to stop talking. I'm simply going to play the thing on the top of the page called the Picking Etude. Here is what you are going to sound like. Second line. And there's a typo. We will talk about the typo on the page there. There is a typo. That's okay. So what is going on here, and why would a teacher assign this to you for homework? What we're talking about is your picking accuracy, number one. Number two, your ability to maintain down, up, down, up, down, up, alternating picking, right? This is not a fretting exercise. What your fretting hand is going to be doing is nice, but it's not. There's nothing particularly tricky going on here. Now I'm going to make this bigger because I know threes can look like zeros and vice versa. If I make it that big, and I'm going to go down, Does that make it a little bit easier? I know some of you are saying nope, but maybe some of you will makes it a little bit easier to see right there. Okay. I know my smiling face is blocking out the last note of the song, but that's a good thing because the last note of the song is the typo. I've never found a book that doesn't have a typo, and that includes my own books. So there you go. Okay, so what's going on here? Okay, the recurring thing is an upstroke on your open G string. No jokes. But you're going to need your G string to be open for this. There's going to be lots of downstrokes. In between every downstroke is an upstroke on your open G string. I'm going to exaggerate that sound for a second. I know it's kind of abrasive, but I want you to hear how no matter what you play with your downstroke for the entire etude, the next stroke is going to be that open G string, specifically with an up pick. Okay. By the way, everyone's holding the pick right? Curl up your picking hand into a loose fist. The pick rests against your index finger, and your thumb does all the work. No pinching like that, right? Nobody's doing that, right? Curl up. If this feels weird, good. It should feel weird. It should be not intuitive to hold the pick this way. Your index finger is curled up and essentially acting as a wall or a barrier, and your thumb is doing all the holding. And whatever you do, don't extend your thumb way past the pick like that. Every once in a while, I catch someone doing that, and it's partly because maybe I didn't explain it well enough. You want the smart part of your thumb to be touching the pick. That means you're going to have to bend your thumb knuckle a little bit. Okay, moving on. So don't grab a C chord, but I want you to imagine a C chord. The very first note, ring finger, 3rd fret on the 5th string. It's exactly where you'd play if you were playing a C chord. It's exactly the finger you'd use. Open 4th string, 4th string, 2nd fret, also a note from the C chord, and back to where you start again. Such a cool exercise, pushing your picking hand for accuracy, but also it just sounds kind of pretty, right? That's the first line I just played. Now, it took me a minute to realize a cute little thing that's happening, and some of you might have heard it before I heard it. I was focused and playing this and trying to get it right, and pretty quickly, not quickly enough, it took me a few minutes to realize, oh, embedded in the first measure is the song some of us call Frère Jacques. In between those melody notes of Frère Jacques is the open G string. Frère Jacques. And the second measure, the same thing, just a lower version of Frère Jacques. Frère Jacques. Okay? So, I don't know, once I heard Frère Jacques in there, are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? Somehow it felt more like I was making music and not, I was enjoying making music and not stressed about exercise, like downs and ups and accuracy. I thought, oh, Frère Jacques just kind of gave my mind something to focus on. That got my mind off of stressing out over the stuff that is important, downs and ups and pick accuracy and everything. Okay, so what you're looking at, I am going to post that on my website in the PDF section. Those of you watching, some of you, many of you are members of my website, www.song-bike.com. Before long, I will add this exact document to the PDF section. It's listenable. It's the kind of thing that, members of your household, they won't mind hearing you practice this because it sounds like something. Admittedly, some exercises, they sound like math, right? They sound like an exercise, and you might play it great, but no one's going to ask you to play it a little bit more, right? It might not have any musical charm to it. And this one kind of does. Okay, the typo. I mentioned the typo. I'm going to zoom out a little bit because there we go. The last note, if you're looking at the tab, the last note of picking Etude number 1, and I'm pointing out with my cursor right there, that's a pretty honking big typo. Ouch, ouch. What they wrote was the first fret on the 3rd string, which would sound like, out of context, it's a perfectly good sounding note, but what they meant to write was the same number on the 2nd string. If you think of a C chord, integrated into a C chord, an integral part of a C chord is your, index finger, 2nd string, 1st fret. That's what they meant to write there at the end. So that's all right. People make mistakes. By the way, at the very end of picking Etude number 1 right there, they are asking you essentially to commit to a C chord. I mean, really, the last measure, you really do want to commit to a C chord. But pinky, 1st string, 3rd fret. So a C chord with a pinky, a 4-finger C chord. There's not another name for that chord. It's just called a C chord. The note your pinky is fretting there is the note G. Well, G is already part of the C chord, the open G string. So this is just adding an extra G to a chord that already had a G, and that's why the name doesn't change. It doesn't become, C16, C minor flat 11, none of that stuff. Nope, it's just a C with a pinky. So that last measure is the only time you actually commit to a real chord. Pooba John, I see your good question there. The last measure is the only time you actually hold down a proper chord. Every other measure, you're simply following the tab. You're doing whatever the tab says. But like I said in the beginning, when this exercise starts off, you want to visualize a C chord, and that will help you get your fingers in the right places when you need them. Meaning the ring finger is going to play the number 3 notes. Anytime the whole song, your ring finger is always going to play the number 3 notes, with that exception at the very, very end, the pinky on the C string. Your middle finger is going to play all the number 2 notes. Anytime you see the number 2, it's going to be your middle finger. In fact, yeah, the whole song is going to be middle and ring fingers, your 2nd and 3rd fingers on your fretting hand. At least that's what I would do, until the very, very end, where, like I said, you commit to the 4-finger C chord. Sounds so nice, right? Okay, so that last note, what I should do before I upload it to my website? I'm going to fix that typo. I'm just going to take a Sharpie, and I'm going to Sharpie that note. Okay, questions, comments? The picking Etude down below, maybe we could do that one another time. I'll show it to you real quick. Just, scroll up. It's extremely similar. It's not harder. It's just longer. It just takes more time to finish the phrase. It's still actually based on a C chord and a G chord. I just played the first 16 notes. I do it again, the first 2 measures. How about if we save that one for next time? We'll do that one next time. But just know that it's not really any harder than the first one, and it has a lot in common. What's different about it is it's the 2nd string, the B string that you keep returning to. There we go. It's the B string you keep returning to instead of the G string. So it's asking I forgot to mention the phrase of the day: string skipping. String skipping. Both of these etudes involve string skipping. Anytime you're jumping around string to string, over and over again, that's the phrase, string skipping. And it's such great training for your picking hand. don't forget, you are 100% obligated to do down, up picking. But I'll tell you what, your hand gets into this habit of doing it. And this is a great context to practice down, up picking. Hey, Bruce is checking in from Sydney. Hey, Bruce, welcome. Nice to see familiar names. And Lil Wolf checking in from Soddy Daisy, Tennessee. Is that really the name of the town? Soddy Daisy? Holy cow. Outside Chattanooga. Very cool. Welcome, Lil Wolf. Welcome to the chat. So there you go. How about if we go over this picking Etude number 2, if we go over it next time, we'll say we'll did number 1 this time, we'll do number 2 next time. And like I said, I'll upload it. I'll correct that typo, then I'll upload it to the website. By the way, here's one more thought. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. Ooh, we're going to do our play along, a virtual play along song in a minute, so don't go anywhere. One thing I want to share with you, this whole approach, this exercise, this Etude, I think, in my opinion, my musical opinion, that actually works as a really nice a strum pattern. Say a song is based on a C chord, and you grab your C chord, and the question is, okay, what do you do with it? Well, for our scenario here, let's say it's a song that either you've written or maybe a piano player's written, but either way, you get to make up the guitar part. You get to make up the strum pattern. Well, aside from the fact that I can't stop hearing Frere Jacques in there, that's a really nice approach to a C chord, right? We all know the classic, well, I should say that we all know. There's a lot of classic strum patterns that can be a little cliche. We'll talk more about that in a minute. So anytime I come across something like this, I think to myself, wait a minute, that could be a valid approach. Down, up picking, including both chord tones, but also notes that are not in the chord. But you play enough chord tones and the listener gets the idea. They know, they put it all together. You're giving them all the pieces of the chord, plus a few more pieces, but they get the gist of it, Okay. Hey, Chaz, thank you for your super chat. You guys you're in good spirits tonight. Me too. Okay, you ready for our play along song of the week? One of the best songs ever written. You guys think I'm joking about that? I am not joking. Okay, let's close that down. So I can't tell you how happy I am to do this song. And I don't know too much about the background of this tune. I did a little bit of a deep dive. Is that such a thing? A little bit of a deep dive. It's kind of a weird way to put it. Okay, I'm going to show you 2 different ways of looking at this song. And let's all get demonetized together. Okay, I got that. And what else do I need? I need this. I don't mean to keep you in suspense. I really, really don't. I got to download this from my website. Okay, I'm going to take down that picture. That's fine. Okay, I need this. And that's what I need. Okay, download. There we go. And that's nice. I really did not mean to keep you guys in suspense, but I know that many people like seeing a song written out in the way I'm about to show you. So I'm going to show it to you 2 ways. All right. Our play along song of the week. This song that is going to get me demonetized in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. From the pen of Johnny Nash, I Can See Clearly Now, one of the best songs ever written, and actually one of the best recordings as well. There's so much to say about this song. But let's get into the nuts and bolts of playing this tune. Okay, most of these chords are familiar chords. D, G, and A. The song's in the key of D. D is in Delta. You need D, G, and A, also known as the 1, 4, and 5 chords in the key of D. a C chord pops up on the chorus of the tune. That's all right. In the bridge, we need an F chord. Sorry about that. Sometimes you just need an F chord. There's an interlude in the middle, and that's a part I put in the box. You see C sharp minor G, C sharp minor G. Don't stress out about that for a bunch of reasons. Number one, when you're banging out the song around the campfire, I hate to say it, but you don't need to do that part of the song. That's just, it's the instrumental interlude. It's a very hip thing for the listener of the original recording. For playing it in your backyard, it's just not the most important part of the song. So having said that, you know, the only scary chord on there is C sharp minor, and I showed you how to do that a minute ago, and I'll show you again. Okay, so basically D, G, A C pops up, and an F pops up in that quirky interlude. Strum pattern. Talk about cliche strum patterns. I highly recommend, to get the feel of this tune, the good old classic down, down, up, down, 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 up, down. I'm going to show you a cooler thing to do with it, a way to modify that, the enhanced version of that. But that's basically the strum that fits the song the best. There's some guitar on the tune, but the guitar is not driving the tune. There's not this identifiable, crucial guitar part that we have to imitate. So we get to make up our own guitar part, in my humble opinion. And for those of you who are comfortable with a down, down, up, down, then you're all set. If you want to improve upon that, that's a bit more sophisticated and only a tiny bit harder. I'm going to illustrate it on a D chord. I'm hitting just the individual D string, the fourth string. Now I'm going to strum down, up, but the down, I'm going to lean into it a little bit to get a little bit more of that drama. Hear that? Run dun da 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 boom. Run dun. I'm squeezing my pick a little bit tighter when I do that. I'm going a tiny bit slower. I'm digging into the strings just a teeny bit harder. Don't go crazy. I'm going to verbalize my downs and ups. Guess what? It's the same downs and ups, you guys, that we were doing a minute ago. Down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. So if you're already doing the broad strokes, down, down, up, down, 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 up. If you're already doing that, then take it to the next level. I'm going to do it on G. On G, I hit the fat 6th string first because that's the note G. A, I'm going to hit the open A string first. So to the best of my ability, I'm going to do that slightly more sophisticated strum in a minute when I work through the tune. Okay, so I presented it here the way we often see songs on, say, ultimateguitar.com, right? Where they show you the lyrics and they show you where the chords go, and that's all they tell you, right? And then it's up to you to figure out the strumming. And sometimes the chord names don't exactly match up with the lyrics. It makes you crazy, right? Things get misaligned. Now, just so you know, I'm going to put this back on the screen in a second, but here is the alternative. And this is what I personally prefer as a guitar teacher. Okay, take a look at that. There we go. If your screen goes black, don't fear. Okay, now that is what I prefer as a guitar teacher because that shows you the structure. Now, I know that's a lot of black ink. There's a lot going on there, but this gives you a different perspective on the song. So, and to me, this shows you like the guts of the song, right? We're not worried about the lyrics. We want to know what to play on the guitar. And this shows you the guts of the song, you know, the intro, the verse 1, chorus 1, verse 2, chorus 2, the bridge, the interlude, which is instrumental, no words, and the final verse, which is the same as the first verse, chord changes, and the outro chorus, which is the same as all the choruses. Just keep repeating it over and over and over again. So I'm going to go back in a minute. I'm going to go back to the view with the lyrics, okay? Because I'm guessing that that's what you guys are most comfortable with, which I totally get. I get it. But I'm going to upload both to my website ultimately because, what you're looking at right there, to me, that's the way I think of the tune in my brain. I just think it's valuable. Anyways, whatever works for you is all that matters. Okay, so let's go back to the lyric view. And I'm happy to present it that way. Because I'm guessing, there we go. I'm guessing that this is how many of you are most comfortable. Hey, Willie, I see your question. Will I get to your question after the play along song? Okay, so I can't wait to play it and sing it. Let me bear with me. Let's do a practice run through like one verse and chorus. By the way, what I'm calling the chorus is it's going to be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Okay, very short chorus. By the way, among the many things I love about this song is within 30 seconds they're already on the first chorus. I mean, they do not waste time with this song. Within 30 seconds, bang, they're right there. A lot of great stuff about this song. Is this the perfect pop song? Ooh, I thought you'd never ask. I'm asking my own question. I would go as far as to say I would put this in. I'm going to hedge my bets. I'm going to say in the top 10 perfect pop songs. Yeah, I'm going to put this up there for many, many reasons. By the way, I'm also including, when I place that kind of value on, I'm including the production. The production on this song is fantastic. The instruments that join in, everything about this song, man. Okay, so let's do a slow walkthrough. The song kind of vamps on the D chord 3 times like this. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. I can see clearly now the rain has gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. Gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Okay, pretty straightforward, right? Let's skip ahead to the bridge. The bridge, the look all around. F, however you want to do F. Look all around, there's nothing but blue sky. Look straight ahead, nothing but blue sky. Okay, no big deal. I mean, I know not everybody loves the F chord, but okay, it only shows up that brief moment in the bridge right there, okay? So now, the interlude. I don't want to dismiss it completely because the interlude, it's not that big a deal. Just got a chord that some of you might never have played before, C sharp minor. Yes, I'm aware there's other ways of playing C sharp minor. I just thought I'd go for the way that relates closest to the chords I'm pretty confident you guys already know. So I use the A major chord as a reference, and Scott pointed out that it's kind of like it's a lot like a D7 chord moved over one fatter string. Okay, so quick reminder, a C sharp minor, you're going to need it 2 times. I'm going to go back to my A chord as a reference. Take your A chord. Leave your 3rd finger, ring finger, on the 2nd skinny string. Put your middle finger on the 4th string, 2nd fret. Your index finger, 3rd skinny string, 1st fret. And only strum the 4 treble strings. Okay, that's what I recommend for the moment, unless you know other ways of playing C sharp minor and knock yourself out. So C sharp minor to G, back to C sharp minor to G. And now we're in the home stretch. C, B minor, and then A. And then the third verse and chorus, it's really like literally the same as the first. Same chords, same lyrics. Why did I write it again? To fill up the paper. Why not? We're not trying to save paper exactly, right? But yeah, it's as if we went back to the beginning of the tune. Okay, so for our purposes, my right hand strumming is never going to change. To the best of my ability, I'm going to stay with that. The whole time, because it works. It works nicely. In general, you can do G however you want to do G. No, but see how the chorus has bright, bright, sunshine day? C. If there's a C right before the G, I'm going to say the same thing I always say. You really want to do G with the middle ring and pinky. All right. What do you think? You ready to try this? I've talked enough. The song is, barely 3 minutes long, and I managed to talk for 20 minutes about it. I understand. I get it. Let's do it. I shall stop talking. 3 strum patterns in the D major chord, because that's what they do, which is hilarious because everything in music happens in multiples of 4, right? But this tune, man, they want to get right down to it. So it starts 3 measures of D, and then they get right into it. So let's do it their way. I'll see you on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can see clearly now the rain has gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshining day. Gonna be a bright, bright, sunshining day. Think I can make it now, the pain has gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. Gonna be a bright, bright, sunshining day. Look all around, it's nothing but blue sky. Look straight ahead, nothing but blue sky. I can see clearly now the rain has gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. Gonna be a bright, bright, sunshining day. Gonna be a bright, bright, sunshining day. Gonna be a bright, bright, sunshining day. So this song checks a lot of boxes for me. You guys might remember that I have a love for the flat 7 chord. Now we're in the key of D. So D, G, and A, that's the 1, 4, and 5. What is the flat 7 chord? Because that's one of many reasons that this song just does it for me. Anybody have a guess of the other chords besides the D, G, and A? Which chord is the flat 7 chord? That's the nickname for it, the flat 7 chord. Put it in the chat. I love this song because it starts off so modestly, little bass riff, little quiet thing, but it grows into this, there's horns, there's strings. I believe that the Moog synthesizer comes in for the interlude part. Yeah, Dusty Dave, it's C. So I can't explain it, but when I think of many, many, many of my favorite songs, they all include that chord. In the key of D, it's the C chord. And, that's got to be one of the reasons I love this song. I love it because the feel goes from 1, 2, 3, 4, right, to what they call the halftime feel. Dark clouds that had me blind. And then, of course, gonna be a bright, bright sunshine day. It's the illusion that the song slows down. And the same thing when it gets to the bridge, the illusion called the halftime feel. Sunshine day, and then all of a sudden you get boom. Look all around, nothing but blue sky. It's an illusion. I love it so much. And the fact that it has, a weird interlude, it's 1972. Why not, man? Why not? The C sharp minor chord. I have no idea how or why Johnny Nash thought that would be an appropriate chord. But that I find it endearing. There's so much this song. Now, the other thing about this song, the elephant in the room, is the lyric. It's a universal lyric. This song was #1 not only in the U.S. and Africa. It was a number in Canada, U.S. and Canada, but also in South Africa. I mean, it was a huge hit song globally, right? But to have the same song be #1 in a variety of countries, North America, South Africa. I mean, you must have hit the nail on the head, right? If your lyric, I mean, it's a brilliant lyric, man. Everybody at some point in their life can relate to what's expressed in this song, right? There's so much going on. So, okay, thank you for humoring me. I hope you had a fun time playing. I Can See Clearly Now, written by Johnny Nash. Interesting career. He was born in Houston, Texas. He was a big supporter of Bob Marley early in Bob Marley's career. And what I don't know is, I don't know who the producer was. It might have been Johnny Nash himself. In my little, attempt at a deep dive on this tune, I didn't see who the actual producer was. Johnny Nash was not a novice. So I wouldn't be shocked if he produced and he made all the musical decisions. So until I hear otherwise, I'm going to assume that Johnny Nash was the one who decided everything about this song. He definitely wrote the song. So why not, man? Why not? Randy says, I love that song and my cat does too. She watched intently. Nice. Every once in a while, one of our moderators, music fan, the moderator I'm married to, every once in a while she takes a picture of the pets in my house, who sometimes are watching Dad on the big screen at home. So, hey, I want to thank our moderators. Music Fan 1004 and Beginner Guitar Lessons are our moderators. I want to say thank you to them. I want to say thank you to my mom. Mom is often watching. Thanks for watching, Mom. Okay, so I'm going to wet my whistle, okay? You guys work on your C sharp minor chord. The cider is back. I'm hoping that, being fall in New England, this is not last year's cider anymore, that they put it on a deep freeze. I'm hoping that this is fresh. Now I got to sneeze. Hold on. All right. Got a quick fingers on the volume knob. All right. Good thing I sneezed after singing. So there you go. Now, this is the time of the show where I look back at what we haven't talked about yet. Lots to talk about. Joe, if you're out there, Joe, I mailed you your Book Barn t-shirt. So you should be getting that. You probably already have it by now. We did a giveaway during our 100th live stream show, and finally sent out the last giveaway prize. Thanks for your patience, Joe. Speaking of the Book Barn, in Niantic, Connecticut. Okay, that picking Etude came from this book right here. I paid $5 for it. Comes with a CD. I don't know if I'll ever go to the trouble of listening to the CD. What is this book? Mel Bay's Guitar Daily Practice Handbook. Interesting book. Lots of stuff here written by William Bay. Almost certainly part of the Bay family, Mel Bay Publications. My instinct is that they took a bunch of stuff, a variety of exercises, and put it onto the same book, because there's some relatively easy stuff in here, and there's some stuff that I consider to be pretty hard. So I'm guessing that they kind of cobbled this together. That's okay. I recommend it from 1987. It might still be in print. I don't know. Pretty cool. It's definitely absolutely worth the $5 I paid for it. What else did I find at the Book Barn? Okay, check this out. This one from Guitar Player Books, way back in 1977. Ooh, look at this one. British rock guitar. Great picture of Jeff Beck in front of the Union Jack playing his pretty yellow Stratocaster with a rosewood neck. British rock guitar by Dan Hedges. I'd be surprised if this one is still in print, but it covers a bit of biography and then some transcribed guitar solos from Steve Howe, Chris Squire, Steve Hackett, Mike Rutherford, Roy Gallagher, Jeff Beck, Peter Frampton, Eric Clapton, George Harrison, John Entwistle. That might be the first time I ever saw a bass player covered in any depth in a guitar book. But there you go. Alvin Lee, Chris Spedding, Big Jim Sullivan, and many, many, many of those people, not all of them, but many of them have some of their guitar solos transcribed with a bit of with a bit of description for each solo. So I'm interested in getting into that. Can't wait. Coming in at $3, Al Di Meola's Picking Techniques. Why is it only $3? Maybe because there's no tab. Oh, I gotta read real music like a big boy. It's okay. I'll step up. Al Di Meola, very famous guitar player, but I'm not that familiar with his overall, discography, and I'm certainly not familiar with his picking techniques. $3. Okay, I'll make it fast with some of these other ones. From the Amsco publications, Classical Riffs for Guitar. Very interesting because some of it is actually classical music from Mozart, Beethoven in tab, and then they connect it with famous players like Ritchie Blackmore. That could be very interesting. America's Greatest Hits. Are you kidding me? For $4. Now, the problem with this one is it's PVG, piano vocal guitar, meaning it only shows you the guitar chord. It doesn't tell you, there's no tab, there's no indication how to strum it. And, I'm 50-50 on how accurate the exact guitar chords are, but that's okay. It's a way to get started with songs from America for $4. All their greatest hits. Sooner or later, we got to do an America song for our play along. Okay, what else did I get? This was a great one for $4. Okay. From Liverpool to Abbey Road, learn to play the guitar, beginning guitar method featuring 33 songs of Lennon and McCartney. And yeah, this is pretty cool in a lot of ways. It's full of tab. Let's pick a song here. Okay, Eleanor Rigby, where they wrote out the melody of the tune. So like I could do that with like a beginner guitar student, have just pick out the melody of Eleanor Rigby. But they also have some strumming. Anyway, it's very cool. Okay, I'll make it fast. I couldn't resist this. The Art and Technique of Practice by Richard Provost. How to practice. Ooh, interesting. Practicing Jazz, a Creative Approach. Very interesting. And last but not least, Zen and the Art of Guitar, a Path to Guitar Mastery. This is from the National Guitar Workshop. Anything with their name on it is worth checking out. Technically, it's from the Alfred Publishing Company, you know, is sort of presented by the National Guitar Workshop. So very cool. Gets into some philosophy as well. Anyways, whew, am I ever going to get through all those books? No, never, never. But that won't stop me from grabbing something out of each one. So there's my show and tell. Okay, hey, you want some more show and tell? I'm gonna go into the chat in a minute to make sure you guys don't have any questions for me. Oh, wait. I did see a question. And then we'll do some show and tell. Willie, it was your question that I saw before, and I said, Willie, we'll get to your question. Where'd it go? Okay. Yes, Willie. Willie, you call it a stupid question. Those are your words, not a question at all. Willie says, do you have a list of songs that are better suited for a 12-string? Love your show, by the way. Thank you, Willie. Number one, I don't. It's not a dumb question, though. I would say songs that were written on a 12-string are the ones to play on a 12-string. And here's why. If for no other reason than inspiration. You know, good old the Birds, right? Now, I might be kind of fudging that a little bit, but I think for the inspiration of it, 12-string, you could argue 12-string is a little bit harder, right? Each of your fingers is pressing down two extremely close strings rather than one string. You know, it's a different feel. The neck is a little bit bigger. So I wouldn't tell someone, hey, grab a 12-string guitar and then play all this stuff that is going to be a little more challenging just because of the 12 strings. You might as well play stuff that was originally played on a 12-string, and then at least you know someone did it before you. So let's have some fun for a minute. I'm going to go here because even though I don't have a list, doesn't mean there isn't a list. Okay, tap, tap, tap. Let's see. Okay. All right, now, for the fun of it, okay, I'm going to share the screen. Let's see what Hal Leonard has to say on the topic. Hal Leonard has a series, and the series is called The First 50 Songs, and there's all sorts of books in this series, the First 50 Song series. So here's what Hal Leonard is encouraging all of us to do. Let's see what we think. One-of-a-kind collection, common tab, lyrics. Okay, so here's my question for you guys. I'm going to click on Show All. Okay. The question is, it's all right, I'm back here. All right. All right, so I was just saying, I'll put a link to that book. Bear with me here. Let's share the screen again. There we go. Okay. I just put a link to this book in the chat. I know nothing about this book. I've never seen this book, but as a way to begin the conversation. So my question for you guys is, do any of you feel pretty confident that every one of those songs is a 12-string guitar song that involves a 12-string in some capacity? I mean, I recognize that a bunch of them do. So yeah. So Willie, if that helps you, that list right there, and I put the link in the chat. I'll put the link in the description of this as well. So to get back to your actual question about a list of songs, I think it would really help to know that someone, there we go, that someone did it before you. You know what I mean? This song was played by a human being, despite the fact that 12-string guitar is a little bit more of a workout, especially for your left hand. There you go. The Wolf says Hotel California definitely has 12-string. Hotel California has everything under the sun, right? Multiple guitar parts. A lot of these songs, in fact, I think a lot of these songs, it's fair to say, have multiple guitar tracks in the recording. Okay, so there you go. There's a starting point, at least. That's a good question. Could that segue into something? Sure. Let's have it segue into this. Don't go anywhere. Anybody live in Phoenix or close to Phoenix? Because if you do, you might have missed something today, but open link, there we go. That doesn't mean you can't go tomorrow. In Phoenix, Arizona is a very cool sounding place called the Music Instrument Museum. I would love to go there. And this weekend, I'm sharing the screen here, this weekend is a double dose of guitar features. So get rid of this, okay. So it was today and tomorrow. So I'm going to scroll here, okay, you guys. Very cool idea, and I bet they'll do this more. It's a Celebrate Guitar event at the Musical Instrument Museum in Phoenix, Arizona. So I know I'm scrolling kind of fast. I believe what's happening tomorrow, Sunday, is pretty similar to what happened today. So there's the Sunday schedule. Okay, everybody see that okay on your screen? The Sunday schedule, for those of you who want to make a road trip to Phoenix. Okay, check this out. See this reference here, the Roberto Venn School of Luthery? That's one of the names that, what am I trying to say? I haven't heard of many guitar building schools. That's one of the only names that comes to mind, the Roberto Venn School of Luthery. I'm sure there's other ways, other, places you can learn how to build a guitar, but that's the one that I've heard of before. So imagine hanging out with a guy from that school and learn about the art of neck carving. How cool. Okay. A youth performance from the Suzuki School of Guitar, the Suzuki Guitar Program there in Arizona. Very cool. Beatles sing-along, some live performances, how to make a Baroque guitar, or how Baroque guitars were made. What's a Baroque guitar? I'll tell you, well, if it's not Baroque, don't fix it. What? Did I just say that? Oh, stop it. Performance on the Oud. Anyway, sounds very cool. An air guitar competition. Love it. Love it. Yeah, very cool. Okay, so there you go. Now you know what's going on in Phoenix, Arizona. I realize that it's not going to happen for many of you to head over there tomorrow, but isn't it cool to know that stuff like that is going on? Checking it off the list. All right, check. Did I tell you that Mike Campbell's autobiography called Heartbreaker is very cool? Mike Campbell, sort of the right-hand man of Tom Petty in Tom Petty's band. His autobiography is called Heartbreaker, and I enjoyed it so much. I'll put a link to it in the description of this video. I read it, but I also sometimes just listen to a chapter on as an audiobook. And I mean, I wish it had a happier ending. It's hard to not, get emotional when he gets to the part about Tom Petty passing away, and he gets choked up as he's reading the book as well. But it's a super enjoyable book for those of you who are Tom Petty fans, rock and roll fans, fans of, what bands, or people who are curious about what bands had to go through in the 60s and 70s. It covers everything from playing at the Super Bowl to playing in like strip clubs and dive bars in the the Gainesville, Florida area in the 70s, college campuses. Just a very cool read. Willie Snyder says, I got a question. Are there any concerts you regret not going to that I had the chance to? Wow. I'll tell you a concert that I was planning on going to, and it didn't work out. but I had a ticket, and then you can decide if I missed anything or not. It was the summer of 1987, and Bob Dylan was on tour with the Grateful Dead. And I had a ticket, man, and family obligations came up, and I couldn't go to the Bob Dylan and Grateful Dead concert in Massachusetts. I forget what the venue was in Massachusetts. And I'm laughing because it was not known as a highlight of either Bob Dylan's career or the Grateful Dead's career, but it was going to be my first chance to ever see Bob Dylan, and I didn't get to go, man. I was kind of bummed out. So not in that sense, I had the ticket, but I couldn't go. Yeah, let's see. Any, I mean, I wish I went to a lot more concerts in general. You know, there's just not enough time, and I'm thinking about it, Willie. When I was a kid, man, you know, you guys know I started off as a drummer, and I played drums and took drum lessons for most of my childhood, and I would hear about big shot players coming through the Boston area. I was out in the suburbs, and I couldn't go to these shows because they're very often at some type of nightclub when you had to be 21, right? And I remember calling these nightclubs as a 12-year-old, 15-year-old, and saying, look, if I bring my mom and dad, can I please come see whoever it was, you know? And nope. So, you know, I'm still bitter about that, man. All the music that I had that I could have seen, man, all the good stuff. Oh, I was so mad about that. Really, it's a great question. But that's the first one that comes to mind, where I actually had a ticket to the show and then I couldn't go. Oh well. How about you guys? And you let us know in the chat. I wouldn't be surprised if some of you had that ticket and then for some reason you couldn't go, you know. I get it. Okay. I'm just going through my checklist here. Spinal Tap, the movie's out, man. It's not playing right in my neck of the woods, but I'm looking forward to seeing the new Spinal Tap movie. I believe it's called Spinal Tap: The End Continues. And the trailer already has me cracking up. Can't wait to see it. Paul McCartney makes a cameo. Elton John makes a cameo. I'm sure there's a lot of other people. Questlove they're trying to lure him into playing drums in Spinal Tap, and he's aware that they keep dying. The drummers keep dying in Spinal Tap. Hey, Barry's asking, how was the Willie Nelson gig? How could I forget? The reason we didn't do a live stream last week was there was a concert here in Connecticut, the Outlaw Tour. Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, Sheryl Crow, Waxahachie, and Madeline Edwards. And I missed Madeline Edwards and Waxahachie because of traffic. We were so close. There was a pretty heavy-duty rainstorm that was in the area. And so they wouldn't open up the parking lots for people to park until they were sure that we weren't all going to get killed by lightning and sue the venue. I don't know. So when they finally let people in, the opening acts had already started. I guess, I don't know. So, but I heard most of Sheryl Crow's, or maybe most or all of Sheryl Crow's gig, which Sheryl Crow played for 90 minutes, played almost all of her hit songs, did everything a star is supposed to do, man. Great band, smile on her face, sounded great, looked great, talked to the audience, told stories, all that stuff. And Bob Dylan, the exact opposite. So you got to give Sheryl Crow credit, man. She did what people, I mean, if people were there to see Sheryl Crow, they got 90 minutes of Sheryl Crow with hit songs, and excellent. It's great. And Bob Dylan just did his thing, man. So I enjoyed Bob Dylan's show very much. He just was not that kind of performer, never is that kind, or rarely is that kind of performer. So it's just funny to contrast his part of the show with Sheryl Crow's part of the show. And it was getting late and getting cold, and full disclosure, I didn't stick around for Willie Nelson, with all due respect. One of the foremost figures of American popular music. I have seen him play before. I didn't stick around this time, but I'm sure he and his band were great. But that's where I was last Saturday. And oh, you'll get a kick out of this. I got to meet some people that I only know as online personalities, just like many of you know me as just this guy, you know, in this little black room. So being a big Bob Dylan fan, I was aware that some of the Bob Dylanologists that I follow on social media were going to be at the show. And I figured they got to be pretty close to the front row. And in the little window between Sheryl Crow's performance and Bob Dylan's performance, I wandered around like a you know, little fanboy, and I found some of the people who I follow on Instagram. I'm like, oh, and I introduced myself. I'm like, oh, I don't even remember what I said. You know, I follow you on Instagram, and I don't know what else you say, right? You look the same as you do on my phone. I didn't say that. I thought it. Didn't say it, but it was fun. It was fun. You know, a couple thousand people there. It's fun to say like, oh, you know, I know that one. I know we have something in common, you know, pretty cool. So speaking of concerts, let's see. Willie Snyder, my first concert was Metallica at Red Rocks, the Master of Puppets tour. Marlebon, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing your name. Marlebon says, I saw Rush in a downtown Toronto tavern when they were just starting. I left after one beer, too loud. You know, but hey, that they probably were too loud. You're not, you know what I mean? Like, what are you going to do? A million years ago, I saw a band that was featuring Steve Smith, the drummer from Journey. And the band wasn't Journey, but it was something that Steve Smith, the drummer from Journey, had put together. And long story short, it was one of many acts, but I think it was sort of the headliner on this bill. And it was so crazy loud, man. What can you do? You can't, I don't know. You can only take as much as you can take. So yeah, I've been there. Oh, interesting. So Willie, you're going to go see the concert with Slayer, Pantera, and Testament, but it was canceled because of the September 11th bombings. Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Okay, John Oates, man, I gotta share one of the more surprising things in recent memory. I listened to a lot of music in the 70s and 80s, and there was Hall & Oates, and they weren't really on my radar. I knew they had these pop tunes. It just wasn't my thing. Well, John Oates of Hall & Oates, I maybe for many years now has been touring around with acoustic guitar and playing acoustic guitar. And I believe, is he coming through town? He comes through my neck of the woods every once in a while. I forget if he's coming through town soon. I'll tell you in a second. He might have just come through town. But in the description of this video, I'm going to put a link, a YouTube link to John Oates, man, playing and rocking out. No, I think he just came through town recently. I don't see him coming up. So it's making me rethink John Oates, man. He's like doing the singer-songwriter thing, which I think he's been doing for a long time. And it's not on my radar. So you guys might get a kick out of seeing John Oates in a whole new light. Very interesting. Val says, I saw Cream on their final tour, seated in the 10th row. Couldn't hear a thing for several days after. Anybody carry around earplugs of some kind? The little foam guys or something else? Not a crazy idea, right? They make a big variety of those, and everything from little disposable ones you can get at the local pharmacy to I'm sure pretty high-tech ones. And you got to protect your ears, right? You got to, and I definitely consider anytime I'm hearing music at an indoor, like a bar, nightclub kind of place, I consider it because, you only got two ears, you got to take care of them. Chris Crate said, based on your comments, Jonathan, I might get a Sheryl Crow recording. Oh, hey, go for it. I mean, Sheryl Crow is very good at what she does. I know that sounds like faint praise, I haven't followed her career, but she's had enough hit songs that, like, you know, she's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, as she reminded us. I guess I didn't know that. So good for her for reminding us that she's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yeah, go for it. Why not? Why not get yourself a Sheryl Crow recording? Okay, so my friends, John Oates, I will put a YouTube link to him performing in the description of this live stream when I timestamp it. Okay, can we get into the world of science just for a minute? I found this next story super interesting as someone who thinks a lot about rhythm, someone who tries to be a healthy person. Okay, check this out. You know, you get to a certain point of your life, when you get to be my age, you start thinking about your heart a little bit differently than you might have thought about your heart when you were a young kid. And check this out, you guys. I'm going to scroll down, but check out this headline. An AI screening tool that looks for structural heart disease. And if I understand correctly, basically, it's listening to the rhythm of your heart. And it's, according to this study, it's more accurate at diagnosing heart issues than doctors, than human beings. Now, you guys know I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV. I don't know. I just hear the word rhythm and I hear the words heart health and I think, huh, interesting. So this is called Echo Next. So this is out of New York Presbyterian Hospital. This gentleman is also an assistant professor at Columbia. Structural heart disease. The absence of a routine affordable screening test means many people aren't properly diagnosed until significant cardiac function has been lost. So bottom line is, hopefully it's inexpensive. It appears to be very, very accurate, or at least as accurate or more accurate than an actual cardiologist. Okay, so I'm scrolling so you can see this these stats. EchoNext accurately identified 77% of structural heart problems compared to 64% of cardiologists, and who did not have any AI assistance, and 69% who actually did have AI assistance, but still weren't as good as this particular program. Yeah, it listens to your heart. We all want someone to listen to our heart, right? Very interesting. For those of you who are curious, I will put that link in this live stream description as well. I'm thinking about you guys. Want to make sure we all take care of ourselves. Okay. Check. Student quote of the week. I was giving my sales pitch to a student about practicing exercises. I think we might have even been doing that picking Etude that we did earlier tonight. And I said, it's important to balance out songs, the stuff that we want to play, songs, guitar solos, all that stuff, with the technical stuff, and because you want to get back to playing all your favorite songs, but you want to have the chops, right? You want to have the skills to do it. And he basically said, yeah, that's why we do the other stuff. That's why you invest the time in the scales and exercise and arpeggios and picking etudes to make all your favorite songs easier, And I like how he's put that. It's like, that's why you do that stuff, which, yeah, we all know that. I like how he said it, sure. You do it so you're better prepared to play all your favorite stuff. And that's the student quote of the week. Music on the Porch Day, the last Saturday in August, every August. Check this out. I'm going to challenge you guys. I have to admit, I wasn't 100% familiar with this. Now I am. So I'm going to challenge you guys. I'm going to open up this link. Boom. I'm talking to myself because I'm going to click on the wrong button here. Okay. Boom. Okay. I challenge you guys to prepare yourselves. You have a year, just about exactly a year, for next the end of August 2026. Music on the Porch Day. This is another link I will share. This is from WSHU, which is my local public radio station out of Sacred Heart University. And what you're looking at here is the transcription of a show all about music on the porch day. And music on the porch day is just what it sounds like. If I understand correctly, okay, I'm going to stop scrolling in case it's making you crazy. The last Saturday of every August, and it's not some big formal commitment. You don't have to do anything. But okay, there we go at the bottom of the screen there. The last Saturday in August, it was started in 2014 as a way to bring people together. Within a few years, it spread to over 70 countries. Okay, so I challenge you, bikers, I challenge you to take part in this next August. You got a year, right? Music on the Porch Day. Why not, man? Why not? Now, if you want more details, again, I will put the link in the description of this live stream. Okay, what do you think? A year? In a year, you can get some stuff together in a year. Wouldn't hurt to do it with a friend, right? You don't want to have to carry the whole thing by yourself. Speaking of public radio, did anybody catch Ed Sheeran doing at one of those tiny desk concerts? I think it was yesterday. Did anybody watch that? I'm very curious. I think it's just him, no band, no nothing, just Ed Sheeran on public radio doing a tiny desk concert. I wonder if anybody watched that. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing that. If you didn't, and you're an Ed Sheeran fan, I think it'd be pretty easy to find. It's not his first time doing a tiny desk concert. So if you Google it, you want to say like 2025, like Ed Sheeran, tiny desk, 2025. I can share a link. Oh no, I guess I have a link. Guess where I'll put it? The description of this live stream. Okay. I had so many things I wanted to talk to you guys about. Okay. I'm going to save those for next time. Save that for next time. Who's in town? We talked about Mike Campbell's autobiography, about his time spent with Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Who's coming through town? Benmont Tench, piano player, keyboard player, is coming through my town. If he's coming through my town, I bet he's coming through your town. He has a new album out. In the description of this video, I'm going to put a link to Benmont Tench playing American Girl, a solo piano version of American Girl, which is very, very cool. Who else is coming through town? Andy Summers from The Police. I'm going to put a very cool video link to Andy Summers playing, what was this song? A Police song. I forget the name of it. With a group, I believe the group is called 40 Fingers. So it's 4 guitar players. They each have 10 fingers, get it? So the name of the band is called 40 Fingers, and they're joined by Andy Summers. Oh, Bring On the Night. Is that it's a Police song, right? Bring on the night. Okay, so it's a very cool video of him performing with these other 4 guitar players. I think you'll get a kick out of it. Andy Summers is on tour. If he's coming through my town, he's probably coming through your town. Who else is on tour? The Atlanta Rhythm Section. Remember that song, Spooky? And Mary Gauthier is coming through town as well, singer-songwriter. So I'm going to put all these names and all these links in the description of this live stream. Check them all out. Check. Am I forgetting anything? Some of these things we can save for next time. We did that. Now's your chance to get a few more questions in. I'm looking at the names in the chat. You guys are talking about how your amps. Yeah, Scott Rhodes, you have a Fender amp that goes up to 12, right? Yeah, I think I've seen those Fender amps that for some reason they go up to 12. I don't know. Willie, your amp goes up to 11. I don't know, man. Why not? Okay, you guys. Hey, we're getting towards the end here. Now is when I typically suggest that you follow me on social media, Instagram or Facebook. Take your pick. just do a search for the term SongBike, all one word, SONGBIKE. I don't abuse the privilege of social media, but I do post things that are relevant, largely promoting this live stream right here and giving like a little teaser about what we're going to talk about. But I talk about other stuff too, but pretty predictable stuff. Guitar stuff, music stuff, mentioning any gig that I have coming up, stuff like that. Don't forget, that pretty guitar is for sale. Boom, boom. And if you feel like you might need an electric guitar and you have the means to get yourself to the state of Connecticut, now is the time. I handpicked this guitar, you could say. I was in a guitar shop, in case any of you miss it, I was in a guitar shop trading in stuff, and I saw this guitar, and I thought, now, wait a minute. That is a beautiful guitar that's not particularly expensive. And so as I traded in a bunch of stuff, I got stuff for me, which I'm happy to talk about, maybe next live stream. But I also picked up this guitar, Epiphone SG Pro with coil taps. Ooh. It's used, but it's barely been used. Sounds great, plays great, gorgeous color. $449 is my price to you. Send me an email if you think you might be interested in it. You do have to come here and get it with cash in hand. But I can tell you it's a very cool guitar. And maybe at next live stream, I'll play it for you guys. Epiphone SG Pro, great condition. And I'd love to find a happy home for it, but you got to come to Connecticut. Send me an email if you're interested, info@song-bike.com. Okay. And I'm getting down towards the end of the show, and it's not too late, but it's almost too late to vote in the poll. So our poll question of the day: do you have your own local guitar hero in your town, in your area? And last few moments to vote. One of the choices was yes, you do have your own local guitar hero in your town, and that's one of your inspirations. And 20% of you said yes. 62% say no, I wish I knew some other players around. And 17% of you say no, I only follow the guitar gods, the legends. I get it, but it's not too late to vote. The numbers never add up to 100. I don't know what it will take for those numbers to add up to 100, but oh well. So, all right, you guys, I just want to make sure I didn't forget something that's incredibly important. I don't think I did. You know what's important? Me saying thank you to you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the questions. Thanks for taking part in all this stuff. Next Saturday, I don't have any conflicts on the horizon. So let's keep doing this every Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern time. I'll let you know way in advance when I do have a conflict, but knock on wood, I don't have any Saturday conflicts coming up anytime soon. So, all right, let's call it a day. Look at that, 7 o'clock on the nose, according to my desktop computer. Sounds good to me. So you guys, thank you again. I will see you next Saturday. I hope you have some time to play your instrument this week. See if you can sneak a little 5 minutes, 10 minutes here and there. If you want to get the most out of your practice time, plan in advance what you're going to practice. Something you've printed out, something from a book. Then when you sit down, you got it right there. That's a little bit of advice for you. If you know in advance what you're going to do, you're more likely to do it, right? Get your guitar out of the case. If it's in the case under the bed, it's less likely. You're less likely to play it if it's hidden away. All right, you guys, that's going to do it. After I close down this live stream, I'm going to start the time stamping, start putting links in the description of this video. It takes me, I don't know, an hour, a little bit less than an hour, but all the good stuff will be there very soon. Thanks for watching. See you again next week. All right, you guys, take care. My weekend begins now.